The point of what I'm trying to say is that we have such short attention spans that someone telling us something that is so earth-shattering, we can just let it go over our heads for the next Netflix show, the next UFC fight, the next barbecue and beers with our boys or the family, the next church cake bake sale, whatever. But there's no things of greater importance than the future of all of us together. So when there's people that are rotting, they're rotting mentally, rotting financially, rotting spiritually, socially, all of us collectively. The spiritual rot is so obvious to see for everyone that has a good conscience. And that isn't just looking away, trying to have it explained away, confused away. And so I wanted to simply add a voice, because a lot of voices aren't getting through. Now, hey, I don't imagine mine's going to get that much farther than all the others. The Chris Hedges of the world. The Dr. Cornel Wests of the world. The Marianne Williamsons of the world. The Bernie Sanders of the world. Whoever you want to talk about that are trying to put a voice on important issues. That why would I think my voice? Obviously, but that's where, oh, well, I guess I have to talk. Because it was a part of the dreams that I had in this world. That I thought, oh, let me commentate on the world's affairs. Because all of this is fucking crazy. And all of you want to talk about it as if it's just, oh, Humpty Dumpty. For those that put the seriousness on it that it deserves, I thank you. The Jimmy Dores of the world. The Kyle Kalinskis. The Matt Taibis. Whoever you want to say. But these people get ransacked by the mainstream. They simply just get silenced because the platforms that exist will not allow certain voices to be promoted. They will actually actively promote other voices more than others. They may still allow Aaron Mate or whoever else to have a show. There are now shows like On the Hill with breaking points and people who are more sane. They're not willing to just look the other way when there's things of great importance happening. As much as it may seem funny, the memeified version of Jeffrey Epstein killed himself, because that's all we've been left to, is to take things of such serious importance and just make them into memes, because it's so fucking hard to get the point across over topics that are so fucking important. How important is it if our fucking government killed John F. Kennedy? How important is that? How important is it if our government is hiding things of great importance? I'm not going to try to get unhinged because I want to put passion behind it, because I want you to know, number one, I fucking care. You got a fucking bulldog in me. Let's go. And I don't want to do this all the time. I like being calm. Most of the time, I'm calm. But today, I just had a bad fucking day. Alright? And that's what fucking happens sometimes. Things just fucking hit you. That the glory in this world. See, I can still calm down. Look, there's some people walking. I can wave to them and say hello. I can still crack a smile. Because it's cognitive fucking dissonance. That's what the fuck it is. And look at all these beautiful trees. You know, wouldn't it be great to just enjoy nature without fucking having to think, oh wow, there's so much that is shit. That we've made it that way. Our fucking egos. The fucking little ego. The little miscreant inside each and every one of us that wants us to do what is selfish. Wow, whoop-de-fucking-do. Who thought of that? Let me give you a prize. You thought of being selfish? Good job. Nothing special in that. A lot of people have tried to be selfish in this world. It only gets you so far. There's a world with all of us. And that's why I find it so fucking sad that the proverbial head is buried in the sand of America. And that's an internal rot. Where you have an economy now becoming more of those with so much that can afford the latest and greatest. Hey, you got your Tesla, you got your little AI machine helping you chug out some more dollars for you, Mr. Businessman. Yeah, you got your yacht, you got your shit. Oh, great. So life's great for you, huh? What about all the people for who life isn't that great for? The one that don't have a voice. I want to talk for them. Because no one's, well, I won't say no one, but in the majority, that is not what we're fighting for. Is for everyone. We're fighting for a small little group of people. Who's that small group? That's a good question. Who's in that small group? You might think you're in it. Hey, you're a millionaire? Oh, you're doing well. You got a nice house. Oh, you're even middle class. You got a good job. You know the system's working for you somewhat. Hey, your boss doesn't hate you. You can go out for beers with them. Wow, you're living the American dream. No, I'm happy for all those people who are doing well. I don't want to ridicule those who are doing well, but those who are doing well with the exploitation of people that they employ, and even those that they are supposed to be serving, that they would rather give them inferior products that may hurt them, that may break unnecessarily, just because, hey, we want to make more money. Where we'd rather build, at least those with the power to build it, an economy that is extractive of this planet, that is rapacious. It is a parasite that is sucking up as much of the resources this planet has to give, repackaging them, consumerifying everything, commodifying everything, commercializing every aspect of life. Hey, you're lonely? Hey, here, rent out a friend. Is that not fucked up? Is that Is that not just fucked up at its core? Hey, what percentage? 60% of seniors are just living alone with no visitors? Holy shit. That's fucked up. So who's gonna put a voice on all the fucked up shit? Because we got Robert Kennedy Jr. saying, my uncle, without a doubt, at this point, and I know with him that is true, because how many facts do you want until you realize, oh yeah, that is what happened? And then how many more facts do you want that level of darkness still is leading our country? It's a little prettier than before. You know, it looks like a more sophisticated version at times when you got an Obama. When you got people like Biden, it's goofed off. And Trump wasn't part of the show. Let me tell you, folks, Trump put a wrench in all these fucking people's plans. Because he's not part of the fucking club. Yeah, he knows some of the people in the club. He even hung out with Epstein. Yeah, Trump has his own sexual fetishes. But in large part, Trump isn't one of them. And that's kind of the most fucked up thing to say. Because who is them? Trump gets painted as the fucking devil. And you think, oh my God, there can't be anyone worse than Trump. Well, you know who's worse? It's the one who's actually more of a devil. Because they sell themselves as angels. You know who those people are? It's the fucking most fucked up thing that I've ever realized. People like Hillary Clinton, people who play dirty, and everyone will have some justification. People like Obama, people who are just serving the greater corporate interests. Now don't get me wrong. Obama speaks a lot more for the people. Now, how much is he doing for them? I couldn't tell you. How much did he do in office? Doesn't seem like a whole lot, because the bank bailouts could have been pro the people and not pro the corporations. Yeah, he did let us vote if we want to get into Syria, and our politicians were luckily a little sane at that point. But hey, the banking interests, the corporate interests, the great moneyed elite, their lives go greatly undisturbed under any regime, under any party, under either party, because there's only two parties. No other party is part of the club, and both the parties are part of the same club. And so when they have this whole debate commission, and they basically rig who can debate who, and so certain voices that should be heard are never heard, like Robert Kennedy Jr. or Marianne Williamson. What kind of place is this where dozens and dozens of percent of the population, probably over half the population, would want to see discussion? So what does it mean when you silence discussion just to shoehorn the guy you want to keep ruling? What does that mean? I know what it means. It means, hey, this is our person, and we don't need any more debate or discussion to think who needs to be next. Trust me, if it was Bernie, the whole apparatus would make sure that, hey, let's try to get this guy out immediately. Because, hey, it seems like they're not playing those old assassination games anymore. At least I hope they're not. I still believe they're wildly capable of as much darkness as they want to bring in this world. But there's way too many fucking people that's onto their game. So as much as they want to do their little dog and pony show, they want to manipulate the masses. They have everything at their beck and call that they need. They've created their government institutions, their international institutions, their international bodies and conferences. They have all the engagement with one another, with their intelligence agencies and military apparatus. They have all of these things working in concert. The banking industry, all of these things that when you look at the core of what does it mean when someone, these people with their ideologies are promoting a certain way of life, when it comes to a banking system, for example, that is legalized theft because it is legalized counterfeiting of money with a mechanism that allows banks to counterfeit money by bringing it into existence as a credit, as a loan. So money that they can loan. Hey, newsflash, America. Banks loan money that doesn't even exist. Did you know that? That's how fucking crazy and stupid this whole system is, because it is rigged. Oh, Donald Trump, yes, you are right, my friend. System is rigged. Rigged to the fucking bone. But it is breaking apart more and more because, hey, Donald Trump was president. And he was not going by the playbook. And he still is not. And I had a great hope, and I believe Donald Trump is fulfilling that hope, in that the great damage to the ego that must have happened as when he confronted a system that was out to behead him politically and financially and all of the ways that you want to neuter someone. As you can see, they are still after him. Now, yes, did he do things that may be wrong? Sure, maybe. Now, on what scale? What level of punishment does it deserve? I'm not sure, but is this a distraction? Sure. Because as it's seen that the FBI is not neutral, it works on behalf of this establishment, what you may call the shadow government, the deep state, the government bureaucracy that doesn't change over with presidents, and these entities that then communicate with the private sector, with other entities that are quasi-private and public, like the Federal Reserve. These are the things that we have going on that go unquestioned, because those that report to us are owned by these people. There is not an objective news media, a news media that is objective. At least, if they're objective, they will report everything that is reportable in truth, in trust, and in fact. They will report all things. Now, you would want a media, I believe, in my view, that wants to support a certain agenda, the agenda that we all should support, which is seen by the divine values on display all around us, that we, in our most haphazard ways, we seek to make to work with our system, our economy, our way of governance. And that all that system is that you must be in a place, in a state of 100% service. That is the way that the world operates. And then when you receive, when you take, what you seek to receive, you take it with humility. You take as much as you need, not more, not less. And that as much as is given, as is being given off by all things are giving. The electromagnetism within atoms, within the ionic valences, the shield around a nucleus, it's giving a force. Now, even that is a giving force. This giving force that is all pervading, that all things are in a mode of giving. If you look in nature, it's very clear. All things in nature, you would assume, are giving to their max ability. You wouldn't think that nature lets up. Nature seems to just always operate with a certain fullness to it. It gives in abundance as much as it can, and it receives as much as it needs. And that system is diametrically opposed to the system in which we have today. And that's simply what I want to put a voice to. We think, well, let us tidy it up around the edges. Let's vote in someone new. Hey, what about even the idea that the way our whole idea of government is even structured perhaps is null on its face? Hey, now you have technology where things can be decided immediately if people really want it. And so this means that the whole paradigm of life within all things can change. The idea of ownership itself is not a true value. In nature, there is no idea of ownership. You're given the space, you take the space that you can occupy. Some may occupy greater spaces, like look at Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos. Within their minds, they have imagined such greatly onto this world, their dreams, that they affect all of us. And so some people take a greater space on this planet, like a forest that has so many trees. So we still should have the ability that those that want to occupy a greater space are able to. Whereas a system that thinks that everyone is just one person that should not be lesser or greater than anyone else in any capacity, that everyone receives the same, the clothing, the food, the this and that, obviously that kind of system wouldn't make sense. But the question comes, it is all about within the resource abundance that we all are able to share within. That now we have owners of companies or of land and resources, that they decide how these resources will be spent and who will be able to consume them. And so there are greater and wiser ways in which to manage this planet's resource base. Ultimately, that is the question at hand. That is what has destroyed our planet to the point of human-caused catastrophic climate change. Now, whether we believe in it or not, we will see the consequences. That much is certain. Whatever it is people want to blame it for, they might say it's the upcoming rapture, the end of the world. They might say it's nothing. They might say it is climate change or it's natural. In the end, the proof is in the pudding, and all we must see is that the planet, if it undergoes great changes, that it must be seen that, hey, perhaps there is a component that human beings have added to it, because surely we have caused great extinction of the fellow plant and species, flora and fauna on this planet. We are even causing ourselves to go extinct. If we do not support each other in fullness, we will have people on top of trash heaps in Africa burning TVs and plastic and breathing it in just to get to the motherboards to make a living. Now, what kind of world should there be shanty towns beneath the greatest residence in the world in Mumbai, at Antilla, $1 billion residence. Now, if that does not speak to the grotesque nature of our ways, I don't want to make this personal to anyone. Of course, some examples are personal, but these are certain stories in which we can describe the ways in which our planet has become our own selves, ourselves as a species, and how we've so grossly managed ourselves and this planet in the great abundance that it is. But in our greedy hearts, we have ravaged it in a way that is destroying ourselves, to the point where it's one thing to be selfish and you're destroying others. You think, oh, hey, that's not so bad. I get to feel great. I'm just destroying other people's lives. Oh, I got slaves. That's fine. It doesn't hurt me. I get more. Great. In the long run, all things that are destructive, even if they don't affect us, one day they will. But when it becomes suicidal, when the urge of greed becomes so suicidal that it seeks to devour oneself, that is a place that everyone should be alarmed to be. And we as a species, forget this planet, way more resilient than we are. This planet has survived many cataclysms. Look at it. It's in full bloom. Now, have we always survived? Well, yeah, we're here now. We're here now. But how much have we actually survived? Did we survive the Great Flood? Look at the civilizations that existed before. How much of us have actually survived? Of the great continuum of humanity, that so much has been lost to history, you would think a wise species would build upon itself into infinitum. They would continue to build upon generation after generation without fail, without fear of any collapse, within harmony within any planet ecosystem that they occupy, to understand it so deeply that they manage it, shepherd it, with the task of shepherding it in humility, seeing it as the garden of God, that we all in our own state of holiness have access to take from in abundance, from the breast of Mother Nature that we are being fed, that we all may take in its sustenance at the watering hole, that we all may breathe so freely, to be our greatest and best selves. That is what we all should have in front of us in our lives. All of us, all of humanity. We all need to cooperate. All of us. And we all want to. It's our governments. It is our governments that have gone rogue on us. Our governments have gone rogue on us. All the people of this planet understand that we are all united, because we aren't all crazy fucking psychopaths. So we should feel good about ourselves. Give us all a pat on the back. Hey, if you're not a psychopath, congratulations. You're on the right more way of being. I don't want to say sides, because this is about transcending duality, which I am on my path, and I definitely have plenty of things that frankly need to be worked out. But one thing I realize, I will channel whatever this anger is, because God knows I've kept an anger within me for a long time. And all this voice seeks is to be heard. And not simply this voice. I seek to speak on behalf of all of my human brethren in the most sanest of ways, to just talk about the issues that matter. Because as I started in all of this, that's what we do not have enough of. So I appreciate any dialogue that we may have in this world, that for whoever may resonate in what is being said, that this voice, let it be amplified. Let it be your voice. Because God knows I can just quietly go back to my little corner of this planet and not say a fucking peep the rest of my life. And what good would that do? Heck, it's already fucking hard enough to be happy seeing all the shit going on and feeling like, oh, well, maybe I should try to do something. Well, there's a place to start for all of us. And I have a whole lot more to share for whoever wants to hear. And for whoever really seeks to make a difference. We all can come together resonating certain truths, but always remembering we have to lead forward. We can't simply keep fighting the old apparatus, and neither really should we. The old apparatus will die on its own. When we empower the new vehicles, the new institutions, the new corporations that will take us into the future. And we already have plenty of that going on now. And the challenge is that when you have technologies like AI, automation, robotics, now who benefits most? Yes, there is the consumer, they benefit through access to things that wouldn't have existed otherwise at prices perhaps that are more affordable than if they didn't have a large corporate body to make them, to think them up, to engineer. But now we have the shareholders, we have the owners, the executives, that parasitic class. It's really the only way to put it. Now, not to say all of them are, but the way in which this value, forget about money, this is about value of people's lives, their labor, their actual lives that they're committing for a generation to build this world, the actual abundance that this planet is giving freely, that we crazily allow people to say, hey, I own this. I own this resource. What would you do? What'd you do to make all that oil? You made the oil? No, you didn't. The oil's just coming from the ground. Yeah, you're putting together all the stuff to figure out how to bring it out of the ground, but how do we account for that resource that you had nothing to do to create? That's actually collective to all of us. In the idea that we are not just greedy asshole humans that are devoid of any commonality, any common source, any common resonance that we share, that we just live in this void of a creation that's meaningless, and we're just here to rape and pillage one another, to just take as much as we can, to live as much of a life of decadence as we extremely possibly can. That's not the goal to all this. I mean, that much is clearly understood. So the way in which, on a more enlightened version of life, which in a way is extreme, but it is extreme to the truth. The one truth is blinding. That is all that is. That one truth is all that is. It is a light of greatest lights. That is the truth. Darkness is the lack of the truth. So let us go in the extreme of the extremeness of that truth. The extremeness of the truth that all is interconnected in a oneness. That's a truth. Ultimately, we have to share this planet inspired by that truth. Not like pillaging marauders and just brute animalistic beings that go to war just through propaganda can make a population bend at the knee to the leaders that say, hey, go do this for me. It's like the mafia. It is the mafia. It's a higher version of the mafia. It's actually the greatest mafia. You have your goons, but in the case, we have to respect the people who are told to do the goon work, because really, they really don't know what they're doing. People are kept so brainwashed to the real motives of what's happening, and that we're brainwashed to say, well, I support the troops. Because, hey, they're just normal people. They're just people that are trying to make a living, actually. There's a whole incentive that, hey, if you have a lot of people who are poor and you give them a place to go that they're fed and clothed every day, and that they can just survive with some level of dignity, and then they'll even get education afterwards if they want, to better themselves in this world, to do something else, that, hey, you give enough incentives, you'll risk your life to go to war. And so for those people, well, it's hard to hate them. They're not the problem. The troops are not the problem. It's the upper brass. The upper brass that should know better. It's our leaders. It's the corporate leaders. It's the ones who have bought the press, who have bought the politicians. Through lobbying, they have all the mechanisms set up. They're the ones who set up these bodies. They don't just come out of nowhere and they get paraded around. The people are told this is for your benefit. That's what they're good at. It's the wolf in sheep's clothing. So how many times are the American people, or any of the people on this planet, going to continue to fall prey to this story? Let the people understand there is no victimhood complex. We are not victims unless we allow ourselves to be. We can allow ourselves to be free and abundant. That is the life that we are destined to if we allow it. So with that just being said, I just wanted to share some views, because I just have lost some patience. You know? I feel like, hey, let's also add some truth into the airwaves. Because, you know, when you're in whatever echo chamber, I'm in this one in the sense of I feel prisoner in some world that is so demented that I get the privilege to wake up to, and I get to just shake my head if I even look in that direction of the world. So half of me, really probably more than half of me, says, fuck it. These people want to just kill each other? Fine, let them. They want to just suffer? Fine, let them. But what would I be doing? I want to be a part of the solution. And part of that is raising our voices. Let us all gain the courage to raise our voices in dignity of the truth. So thank you. God bless, peace and love, blessings to all of you. Because God knows I'm pulling for all of us. Let's go, brother and sisters and everyone of every gender. I don't care who you are, what you believe in. You know, yeah, it could go into some world of fantasy at times, it seems, but hey, we all are in our own fucking worlds, apparently, because the shit I'm talking about, God knows if anyone even knows what that is. Yeah, there are some, and I just want to bring a little more people into that club of true wokeness. Not the corporate, hey, here's the distraction. We're going to placate the masses. Nothing to look, nothing to see here, nothing going on. No, we got a lot to look at. And we got a lot to do. So thank you. Take care. God bless. Take care, everyone. Peace and love.